Hey everyone, welcome back to Thrasher, Skate, and Destroy. I'm Insetic. With me on this video is Blank Tester.
Hey kids, how's it going?
And longtime listener, first-time caller, Canuck.
What's up?
Canuck, you're on the air!
So this video will be about Expert Mode. Will be an Expert Mode playthrough of the entire game, going back again, because as you saw at the end of Normal Mode, I got to the last level, beat it, and it said, good job, now come back through on Expert if you really want to get to the last challenge. So, alright. Note, Expert isn't even a New Game Plus. You could select that from the menu and your first playthrough could be on Expert. And note that it's not necessarily just increasing point totals. Now, about halfway through the game that, it will be different from normal mode, but Expert Mode is mainly about adding new restrictions to your character, and restrictions to how you play the game. One that's kind of arbitrary, but a couple that do change how you think and play. The arbitrary one, you'll note, you have to hit square before you land, to really actually land. Otherwise, as you saw with that first trick, your guy kind of stumbles and wobbles about, and wastes some time. Though note with that, you don't necessarily crash. If you're on flat ground and you're stumbling about, then okay, just ride it out. But if you're on a ledge or something and you fall off, you will crash. So, yeah, that's kind of the arbitrary one. The main one is that now your height of jumps is kind of tied into how much you load your tricks, preload your tricks. If you go back to normal mode, you'll see that, you get these big pop-offs every time. You just tap the flip button and your guy will jump 10 feet in the air to do a flip. Now, if you just tap a button, your guy will get, no air. Now you need to hold it in advance. But it's only for, a quarter of a second. It's not huge. The main one, though, is that after grinding, your character's air is severely reduced to do follow-up tricks after grinds. You'll especially notice it back in normal mode, you could grind and then just pop in the air, do a huge trick, come back down, grind, pop in the air, do whatever trick, come back down, grind. Now, your character's ollies and tech stats really determine, follow-up tricks like that. So for example, with characters with low ollie and tech stats, once you're grinding, you basically can't do any flip tricks out of it. You'll be too slow and you won't get enough air. With Cyrus here, doing a regular kickflip is impossible. If you're landing on the same elevation you're grinding at, but he can do the shorter tricks like pop shove-its, 360 shove-its, 360 flips. So, note in this playthrough, and again, editing fairly quickly through the first half of the game, but I will be showing full runs in the back half. It's more about what I'm not doing than what I am doing. More about what I'm avoiding because I can't do anymore.
Yeah, that was something that I had to deal with. I think the guy that I chose, he just straight up couldn't do any of the tricks that I learned. Inward heel flips and hard flips were basically just, at any point, just not allowed. If you try to do them anywhere, you just fall. Even if you have the airtime to do it, seemingly. You just have one less frame than you needed to every single time.
Yeah, so some of the longer tricks, you'd need to think okay, I need an elevation change. I need an actual gap to be able to do. So yeah, you do have to think a little smarter, and it does get a bit more realistic. To add on top of, how it was already playing before. I guess you could say, the real...
That was awesome.
Yeah. I guess you could say, the real Thrasher starts here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that,
Yeah.
Instead of, flip in, flip out, constantly, I'd do more 180s out of grinds.
Right,
because those are just a simple, easy trick.
Yeah. It's not the end of the world if you're playing as a vert character and now you can't flip out of a grind. I mean, sure, it'll hurt your points, but anyone can do a quick 180 out. Anyone can do a quick jump out. So now your character's strengths are really kind of magnified and really set them apart against other characters more. And that's why Cyrus, having the most stats of everyone, now he's even easier mode. You know? Yeah.
Even easier relative to the other characters. It is still harder than normal mode, but the jump is smaller.
Yeah, I didn't explain that. Yeah, so, kind of like I said, first half of the game, mainly the score requirements stay the same. So, those earlier levels are still kind of, you get to feel out expert mode. You get to see what the differences are. You get to adapt and learn sort of how to play. And then once again, LA Courthouse is basically the difficulty curve, like the difficulty spike.
Oh my god.
The score requirement on expert does increase a good amount from normal mode, and suddenly you are having to get thousands more points, as well as, you know, be restricted compared to normal.
Yeah, I think this is when I started to spend about 15-20 minutes per level.
Yeah. It's really definitely kind of, you hit the same sort of, difficulty curve across expert as you did in normal.
Canuck, I didn't catch, how much of this game have you played?
I got through expert mode, but then I kind of ran into difficulty with the thing after it. Spoilers, I guess.
Right. Yeah, what expert mode unlocks, why we're going through expert mode.
Yeah.
Again.
Whew. There's more after that.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of like I said, you know, I'll be playing better as I go along. I'll be doing bigger, cooler stuff.
You shouldn't have made that.
Going bigger and better than before.
It is kind of, not even really interesting, just, you know, since I was basically beating a level first time and coming back and recording the second time, you know, I didn't play for weeks to become a master at the game before even starting video 1. So my entire normal playthrough was playing just well enough to get through it, and this expert mode playthrough will be playing just well enough to get through it. So, you know, hopefully if you're playing along, you are kind of growing along with me in these and seeing what needs to be done.
Ouch.
Yeah, I noticed playing this game, it's one of those kind of games where it's very repetitive, but the repetition is satisfying. Like you can feel with each run your score getting higher and higher at the end of the run until eventually you just barely get your feet over that bar.
Right. Yeah. There is definitely something to the simplicity as well.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
It's complex, but it's simple compared to Tony Hawk and such. Like, for, you know, when you have that complex option, playing something simpler is a different kind of feel and sometimes can hook you. Sort of like how, let's take like the Halo series. Sure, we've got Halo 5 out there and it's fast and everyone's jump jetting around and, you know, kill times are pretty quick and that's going on and it's like frantic mode. But then like Halo Online came out and it was Halo 3 again. It was slower paced and I mean it was back to those early Halos when there wasn't as much in it. Everyone moved at the same speed, everyone usually spawned with the same weapons, you know, unless it was like Fiasma or something, but there was something to the simplicity there.
Yeah, and going back to that Tony Hawk point, it's almost kind of a retroactive selling point to the game, Thrasher. Don't want to hunt down those 5 cop cars in San Francisco, just boot up this game and try to beat your high score. Like, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, you know, Connor brought up Halo, and it reminds me of, in, like, the making of documentary, like, a little video of, it's not really a documentary, making of video in Halo 1, one of the game devs was talking about how, oh, this is a cool area, he was talking about how their game design philosophy is they want to build a game where lots of interesting short moments can happen, and then just replicate that feeling that you get in that 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds over and over the course of the entire game. And that's how they get you to play the whole game. And so, like, it's kind of a similar philosophy where their idea is, let's just we'll have a really tight focus on, you get a high score. It's almost a very traditional video game sense where, like, really old school games like Donkey Kong and like the original Donkey Kong. That's all like basically just a score run. Tetris. The classic old school video games are all just score runs, and this game is approaching it from that same sort of mindset where it's like, okay, you get a certain number of points and you get better as you keep playing.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel that sort of retroactive advertisement now.
Oof.
Having this game out in the wild or being something you can, just download and emulate if that's the thing you do.
Why would you do that? That is illegal.
Right.
Oh no, the cops are outside my house.
Right.
Actually, no, I own a physical copy of this game.
No, they came outside your house. They're now just here to congratulate you for following the law.
Yeah.
Good work, Canuck.
Canuck, dude, you are a respectable citizen that always follows the law.
Unlike those other people, you know who you are, they say to you.
Yeah, but, nowadays, when you can find Thrasher for, $5 online, or, have the other options, then it's a different environment than maybe when this game or Tony Hawk 1 both cost $50.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really have gotten kind of deep into this game. Some games I just record, play through, and I go, oh, that's that, I'm done, I'm out of here. But Thrasher did really hook me. And so even after all these recordings, I'm going back, I'm trying other characters, I'm trying to get better lines, trying to increase the high scores. And so that's really cool. Actually,
that's really nice to hear for me, because it sounded like initially like you were not too pleased with the game because it is so different. But as you're getting more used to its systems, it's oh, that's a really casual way for him to land.
Yeah, I think it just really highlights just how hard and different the game is at the very start. Because if people remember, when I first got all these PlayStation 1 emulated games, I put together sort of like a stream. It was like 5 hours long, where I, tested a bunch of these games out. And I remember I picked Thrasher, and I just spent like 15 minutes just riding around that first level, in free play, not even starting my run, just trying to get my head around the controls. And just, that thing I said in video 1 about thinking I got it down and then failing, like, imagine that at the worst level, at the biggest, most frustrating amount. And then, I'd like start the run and I'd just completely fuck it up. And I was aggravated, I was annoyed, and I'm sure if that was your only experience with the game, you wouldn't give this a second shot. So hopefully, my full playthrough with really coming around on the game and really trying to actually advertise it, could give it a shot for someone.
Yeah, I will say...
Isn't that what Tyler said? Tyler said he didn't really like the game, right?
Right.
Tyler Lasagna, who was on earlier in the series.
Yeah. And that was probably just, he probably played like 10 minutes and went like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Tyler, though. I mean, he's a good guy.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of him being a good guy, and this is old news by the time this video goes out, but he has been doing work porting those fucking Goofy levels over to Thug Pro. And if anybody is interested in playing those Goofy levels in Thug Pro, he's been going crazy. That's the Steel Donut Discord, so we don't generally push people. But Connor, would you mind putting like a link in the description or something?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey you! Do you play Thug Pro? Do you watch my Disney extremely goofy skateboarding videos and go like, man, that looks garbage? Do you want to play those levels in the Tony Hawk engine?
Yeah.
Well,
do you want to see if those levels are more playable in a competent engine?
It blows my mind. Tyler points out often that the game is so badly done that actually the levels are just like put together in a package already, and he could just port them.
Yeah, actually, what it is it's just a zip file.
Wait, the levels themselves are just a zip file?
It's just a zip file. Like, you can take all the pieces out, all the meshes, all the textures, all of it's just loaded into a zip file.
It really do just be like that.
It just do be
Crazy.
like that. It really do.
Of all the
It
games,
really do.
of all the games to get levels ported or a full port, I don't know. We'll have to see where he's at when this.
Can I
video
say
comes
real
out.
quick? The way you crashed right there, you were like leaned forward on your, on your wrist, and then when he started off, because his skateboard was like in the wall, it looked like he just had his like hands resting on the wall there. That was very nice.
Oh man, let's to get back to the game. Oh, this level, of course, it's the final level, so it is the ultimate challenge.
Whoa!
Whoa!
We gotta employ some teleportation to even make it through.
Sci-fi shit. That's some. Well, it's not hard sci-fi, but it is sci-fi.
They gotta give you some points for that, right?
Oh shit!
It's never happened again. I'm so glad I got it in the winning run. But like, this level on expert took forever. Like, I'm doing probably what Canuck had to do, and just replaying it like 10, 15 times.
But did you enjoy yourself during those runs? Because there's a big difference. There are some games that are like just frustrating as fuck, and then finally you beat it, and you go, "Why did I sink hours?" I'm looking at Prototype 1 and 2.
You know, I never got mad. I'll start it off with that. You know, I never got mad, but I do admit when I finally got the winning run, I did have a feeling of, how was that any different? It was mainly just I didn't crash, I didn't wreck.
Yeah.
You know, because in this game, on expert mode, and especially what's coming after mode, crashes compile. You fail something, and now you're kind of thrown off balance. Now you don't maybe have the speed to go for the next jump, especially in the competitions where you also lose 500 points each time. And
yeah, it's weird. This is a thing that I hear more about these days in both the world of video games, and now that I'm going back into the world of Dungeons and Dragons again. There's so much. Is this the same?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Expert mode.
Can
I?
Yeah.
Expert mode, like I said, it's basically another playthrough. You unlock the same tricks as you go along, you see the same videos. So we ripped it up, but our career is far from over. So on expert mode, you get through, and it tells you to go back to the levels again to beat them and get yourself on the front cover of Thrasher. And what you see when you back out are really high scores.
Holy shit.
That's because it tells you have to get the 5 covers to, get Skater of the Year. And note, that doesn't mean beat the high scores on 5 of the 12 levels. No, that means the 5 sets of levels. Hometown, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, International. You have to beat all 12 of these high scores to truly beat the game and get Skater of the Year. So,
damn.
I see that, and I roll my sleeves up and I say, let's do this. So, coming up next will be full videos of me smashing these high scores. Going through, using everything I know, busting the sickest tricks, and getting fucking ripped.
Oh shit!
To get Skater of the Year.
We fucking on it.
He's gonna skate, and he's gonna destroy.
So see you next time on Thrasher.